Hello, we're going to do a short video today on our Q-Catch 8700 with the Q-Catch head gate, and we're going to show you how to replace the head gate locks. The locks are up here. Now this is a fairly easy job, but some of the components are a bit on the heavy side. So the first thing that I'm going to do is this chute has a head holder on it. Now you don't have to remove the head holder, but I'm going to do it, and I recommend you do it because when you pull off the door with a head holder on, it's very, very heavy. So first thing I'm going to do is just remove this head holder. I've already pre-loosened the nuts just to make it easy. So you just and just make sure you got a firm grip, because this arm can fall down on you if you're not watching it. And then just pull it off the bolts like that, and then just set it on the ground. So the next thing we'll do is you have to remove the shield, and it's just 4 bolts. I've pre-loosened them as well. What I do is I just leave 1 bolt in and I just let it pivot down like that. And you just take a hold of it and take out your last bolt. And now all the workings are completely exposed here. So the first thing you got to do, this shaft is, the sequence here isn't totally important. You can mix it up a little bit, but the first thing I'll do is I'll take out this bolt, and this is what holds the shaft in. Just requires a 9/16 wrench. So that's off. Then the next thing you got to do is, these are called your hammers. This is your short hammer, this is your long hammer. Now you can do one of 2 things. You can take out this cap head screw as well as the bolt and remove the hammers completely, or you can just remove the hammers where it's connected to the door and let them hang out of place, and I'll show you how to do that, but you just got to be careful it doesn't swing and catch you in the face. So this is a 3/4 wrench, and you're on the nut end of the bolt. You just tuck up behind the angle, and you'll notice how that bolt spins freely, and that's important that it's like that. It's meant to be like that. Don't over tighten it, or your Q-Catch, your head gate won't work, because it won't allow the locks to release. And there's a washer in behind it, behind the hammer and the bracket, top bracket. So what I do with this one is I put it over here and I just flex it and tuck it in behind that angle so that it doesn't fall and get you in the face. So now everything's disconnected. So the next step is to start pulling your shaft out. There's 2 pieces of hose at each end here, and that's not necessary for the head gate to function properly. All it is so that when you open the head gate fully, it just makes it a little bit more quieter. That's the only reason that rubber's for there. So you just have to, you see my lock here, you have to push it back to release it, and then that allows you to slide the door. So because remember what we said, wherever you stop, it holds. So you just push it with your thumb and it releases. So we'll pull it out a bit more. Take this rubber off. You can actually move the shaft just by pulling on that door if you want. So I push the door till the roller about reaches the end. Then I'll bring it right back up almost to that bracket, and now that door will come right off. So just grab the door with one hand, release the lock with the other, and just roll off. So the door's off. We'll take that other door off in a minute, but you've essentially done your job. I just lean this over, and this lock just floats. There's no fasteners, there's nothing holding it in. There's a spring here, and I'll show you where that spring goes when I go to reassemble it. But you just, that profile fits in between those two 1/2-inch bolts. So we'll pull the other door off. This one's a little bit easier because you can just pull it like this. And I just leave my shaft sitting in there like that. Take your lock, pull it out, and then if you have an old series chute like the 8400, this profile is the locking part of it itself. On the newer ones, it's a floating lock. So if it ever wears out, you just replace this floating lock, and it just falls inside like that. This is the front of your door. This is the back. Your spring has to sit on that side of the bolts. And you just take your locking cell, and you gotta, if you could, hopefully you can see it here, you gotta line up this profile in between the bolts and line up that little piece of pipe in the center of the lock, and just drop it in. Okay, so we have our locks and the doors all replaced. Now we're just gonna start reassembling our head gate. So take the first door, lift it up, put it in the bottom track. Make sure your lock is in between those two bolts and the spring is on the back of it. So this can be a little bit finicky to try to get your shaft through the lock, especially if that rubber's stiff. Okay, so my shaft is through the lock. Once it's through the lock, then it's pretty easy. Just lift up your door. And as you push, you got to release that lock, or it'll start grabbing and you won't be able to push it. So now that it's on that far, just hold your door so that it's straight like this, so that your shaft is going to line up with that hole. Push it till it lines up to that profile, push it through. Then you got to keep bringing your rubber back. So you want to bring this far enough through, but not so far that you can't fit this top bracket up in between. So I got it through far enough, I think. So once again, just lift up your door, put it in the track, and line it up with that shaft. Lift it so your first set of rollers go on, and you'll see that starting to push the lock. You just kind of got to fiddle around with the lock and line it up. There it's in. Now it's easy going now. Just before your shaft goes into that far profile, just remember to put this piece of rubber on. Like I say though, if you forget to do it, it's not going to affect the function of the head gate. Just makes it a bit louder when it fully opens. There, it's through. Put your 3/8 bolt into this profile. That has 2 holes in it, which allows you to get a fresh piece of shaft for locking should your shaft start wearing out too much. So now it's time to hook our hammers back up. I usually start with the long hammer first so that it doesn't pop and get you in the face. Just remember this washer goes in between the hammer and the top bracket. So now we'll put the short hammer on. Put the washer in between. Now I'm going to tighten up my bolts that go through the hammers, and just remember this is actually a very important part of this process, that you don't over tighten that bolt. See, that's over tight, so because when I move that head gate, it's not, I'll show you here. It's not moving freely in that slot, so it's not going to allow that lock to lean and release. There we are. Just test your head gate out. And there, it's done. You just have to put your shield back on, your head holder back on, and you're done. Well, thank you very much for watching. We hope that was helpful for you. If you have any further questions or anything doesn't make sense to you, or if you have difficulties, please be free to call our client care team and they'll be more than willing to help you out. Thank you.